The Comparison Illusion by Rachel Cruz. In her book, The Comparison Illusion, Rachel Cruz, a financial expert and daughter of Dave Ramsey, focuses on the problem of social comparison and its negative impact on our financial decisions and personal lives. She explains how constant comparisons lead to unhealthy financial decisions because we try to keep up with others, and offers 7 financial habits that will help you build a stable and happy financial life without being influenced by what others do or have. Part 1. The idea of the comparison illusion and why it's dangerous. In our modern world, it has become easy to compare ourselves to others thanks to social media, where we see the ideal lifestyles that people share, such as travel, luxury cars, and beautiful homes. The problem is that this is not the whole picture, but rather selected snapshots of happy moments, while the reality may be completely different. These comparisons lead to feeling dissatisfied with our lives, even though they may be good. Overspending due to the desire to imitate others, which can lead to debt. Feeling frustrated because we measure our success by the lives of others instead of focusing on our own personal progress. Example: a person sees on Instagram that their friend bought a new car, gets jealous, and decides to buy a similar car on loan, even though they can't afford the monthly payments. After a while, they find themselves drowning in debt, while their friend may have bought the car in cash or received it as a gift. Part 2. The 7 habits of a healthy financial life. Without comparisons. 1. Stop comparing your life to others. Comparison is the enemy of happiness and financial success. Everyone has different circumstances, and it's unfair to compare your beginning to the middle or peak of someone else's success. You should focus on your own personal growth, not what others are doing. How to overcome comparisons. Limit your use of social media or follow it consciously. Practice gratitude and focus on the good things in your life. 2. Don't spend money you don't have. Loans and credit cards may seem attractive at first, but they lead to debt and financial problems. The luxurious life you see in others may be just an illusion based on debt. How to control your spending. Spend less than you earn and be honest with yourself about your capabilities. Ryan. Avoid emotional buying that makes you spend just because you feel bored or sad. 3. Make a financial plan and stick to it. Financial success doesn't come by chance. It requires clear planning. Setting financial goals, such as saving, investing, paying off debt, helps you achieve financial freedom. How to make a financial plan. Set a budget that determines where every penny of your income goes. Adhere to a 50-30-20 ratio, 50% for needs, 30% for luxury, 20% for saving and investing. 4. Save and invest money wisely. Having money for emergencies gives you security and psychological stability. Smart investing makes your money work for you instead of working for money your entire life. How to get started. Start with an emergency fund that covers 3-6 months of your expenses. Invest in assets that grow over time, such as real estate or stocks. 5. Live within your means and enjoy it. You don't have to spend a lot to live a good life. Some of the happiest people in the world aren't the richest, they're the most content and satisfied. How to live within your means. Enjoy free or cheap things like nature and family activities. Avoid buying things to impress others and only buy what you really need. 6. Build a habit of giving and contributing to the community. Giving makes you feel happy and grateful and reduces feelings of envy and comparison. Even if you're not rich, you can help in other ways, such as volunteering or sharing knowledge. How to get started. Set aside a small portion of your income to give, even if it's a small amount. Help others with your time or skills, not just money. 7. Build strong relationships with people who support you. Friends and family have a huge impact on your financial habits and outlook on life. Avoid people who encourage you to make unhealthy comparisons or overspend. How to find support. Surround yourself with people who live financially responsibly. Talk about money in a healthy and transparent way with your partner or family. Section 3. Applying habits to your daily life. The most important step after reading the book is to apply these habits in a practical way. 1. Start today. Don't wait until you have a large income to change your financial habits. 2. Monitor your expenses. Track where your money goes so you can see which bad habits you need to change. 3. Change your mindset. Instead of saying, I can't afford this, ask, how can I do this in a smart way? 4. Reward yourself in inexpensive ways. You can enjoy life without spending a lot of money. And conclusion. Can you love your life without comparison? The main message that Rachel Cruz is trying to get across is, live your life according to your values and goals, not according to what others are doing. Money is a tool to help you achieve stability and happiness, not a way to impress people. Getting rid of comparisons and focusing on personal success will make you happier and more satisfied. If you can apply these principles, you will find that you live a more peaceful and comfortable life, far from worrying about what others have. Some of the stories that Rachel Cruz mentioned in her book, The Comparison Illusion. These stories provide valuable lessons about the impact of social comparisons on financial decisions and how to avoid these mistakes. Story 1. Tommy and Pamela. Tommy and Pamela were young people at the beginning of their careers. They had a limited income and were trying to save up and buy a small house. Their lives were simple but happy. But every time they went to the park or met friends, Tommy and Pamela felt pressured because everyone around them had new cars, fancy houses, expensive travel, and other things they saw on social media. Comparisons became more difficult. They saw pictures of their friends and family members sharing their moments online, such as pictures of them on the beach or in fancy sports cars, which made them feel like they were behind. To the point that Tommy began to believe that his success was not complete as long as he did not own that fancy car. They started adopting the "I have to live like everyone else" mentality and decided to buy a new car, even though their budget didn't allow it. Wrong decision. They didn't have enough money to buy the car, so they decided to finance it with a loan. Instead of buying the car carefully or planning well for the purchase later, they entered a cycle of loans, which made it difficult for them to pay the monthly installments. The result was that they fell into a debt trap, which caused them great financial and psychological stress. In the end, the dream of a luxury car became a burden on their lives. Lessons learned. Comparing with others leads to making ill-considered decisions. Living within your means is the smartest solution. Debt is not the solution to achieving a luxurious life, but it creates more problems. Story 2. Mary and William. Mary was an ambitious young woman, but she lived in a very small house, and she always felt that she did not keep up with others. She saw her friends and family members in big houses and fancy cars, and they were posting their pictures on social media and showing off their luxurious looks. This affected Mary greatly, as she felt that her life was not up to date. Social pressure. Mary began to feel that she was unable to enjoy her life because her house was not enough or what she expected. She wished she had a bigger house like others had. Although she knew deep down that her financial situation did not allow for that, the pressure of comparisons led her to make an unwise move. Bad decision. Mary decided to buy a bigger house than the one she was living in, even if it meant borrowing. She took out a huge loan to buy the house, but she did not have enough money to cover the monthly installments. Over time, she became extremely stressed due to these payments, and this negatively affected her financial and psychological stability. Lessons learned. Comparing with others can lead you to make irresponsible financial decisions. A bigger house does not necessarily bring happiness. It may only bring more financial obligations. Identifying your personal needs outside of societal expectations can help you make better financial decisions. Story 3. Carlos and Tina. Carlos and Tina lived a relatively simple and comfortable life. At first, their lives were great because they lived within their means and didn't try to fit in. But over time, they began to feel social pressure after they noticed their friends taking luxury vacations or owning expensive cars. The impact on their lives. Carlos and Tina were initially happy with what they had, but once they started comparing themselves to others, they felt like they had to have the same things to feel like they fit in. They decided to go on an expensive vacation and bought some fancy clothes. The result? By the end of the year, they had new debts due to reckless spending. They were initially financially stable, but after they satisfied their luxury needs due to comparisons, their financial situation became strained. They had sacrificed their financial planning in order to catch up with society. Lessons learned: travel and luxury are not a measure of happiness. Spending based on comparisons can create a huge financial burden. Planning your financial life according to what is necessary and reflects your personal values is better than living according to what others think is appropriate. Story 4. John and Rosie. John and Rosie were post-retirement, and they were relying on their limited savings to cover their daily needs. They had an old, simple house, but they were content with their simple life. At first, comparisons had less effect on them, but one day, during a family party, family members began bragging about their new homes and the fancy cars they had bought. John and Rosie began to feel social pressure to look the same. Unwise decision. John and Rosie were impressed by what they saw and decided to buy some new things to update their home. They decided to finance some of the updates through loans, believing that this would make their lives more comfortable and happier. But over time, the monthly payments became a burden on them, and this affected their psychological comfort. Lessons learned. Living within your means is much better than trying to imitate others. The need to please others through appearances can be dangerous to your financial health. Happiness comes from inner satisfaction, not material appearances. Conclusion. These 4 stories in the book offer important lessons about how social comparisons affect our financial lives. Rachel Cruz explains how comparisons can lead us to make unwise decisions that affect our financial and mental health. The solution is to live according to our personal budget and goals, and avoid pursuing a materialistic, debt-filled life just to please others.